Welcome to the Teninet Indigenous Wisdom Research Center. I am your host, Author Teninet Setegn. In this broadcast series, we explore the profound mysteries within our research. Ethiopian esoteric philosophy and alchemy. Our journey into channeling hidden wisdom begins now.
Welcome to another custom-tailored deep dive. Today we're really tackling a massive mission. We're unpacking an incredibly profound and frankly dense stack of esoteric philosophy, ancient cosmology, and spiritual alchemy, all curated specifically for you.
Yeah, it's a lot to get through, but it's fascinating material.
It really is. And right at the top, we need to establish the foundation. All of the sources we're looking at today stem from one primary researcher, Author Teninet Setegn. He is the founder of the Teninet Indigenous Wisdom Research Center.
Right, which, just for full context, is officially registered and accorded legal personality as a local organization under registry number 5128.
Exactly. And it's important to note that this broadcast is an official project of the center. So with that established, what is the core focus of today's deep dive?
Well, the specific target we're looking at is the sixth core principle of the Addmesh philosophy. And the principle states simply, Addmesh is free from the law.
Which, I mean, right away, that sounds a bit intense. Like, free from the law. It sounds like a call to anarchy or something.
It does sound like that on the surface. But our goal today is to explain how this isn't about promoting chaos at all. It's actually about a really profound intellectual and spiritual elevation.
Okay, so let's get into the sources, specifically the audio file labeled Project 2 Recording 6, because it gives a very strict definition of what the law actually is in this context.
Yeah, it defines the law as a completely binary system.
Right, like on one side you have permitted actions, and on the other, forbidden actions, and the whole thing is driven entirely by the threat of punishment.
Exactly. The text argues that this law is just a construct. It's designed to keep human beings walking in a straight, predictable line.
But wait, I have to push back on that a little bit. If we were just free from the law, doesn't that invite total chaos? I always think of laws like the bumpers on a bowling alley.
Okay, the bumpers, yeah.
Right, like they keep the ball out of the gutter. You might bounce off them a bit, but they guide you safely to the pins. Without them, you're just throwing a heavy ball into the abyss.
That's actually a really great analogy. But the Addmesh philosophy would counter that by pointing out bumpers are for beginners.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? The philosophy says being free from the law means rising above the law through a state of higher consciousness. They call this revelation or measurement.
So it's not about ignoring the bumpers. It's about not needing them anymore.
Exactly. There's a concept from the book of Tybeb that illustrates this perfectly. Imagine a mother makes a strict law forbidding her child from eating sugar, and she backs it up with a threat of punishment.
Like, eat the sugar and you're grounded.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when the child is young, that law is the only thing keeping them healthy. But as that child grows in consciousness and learns about health and nutrition, they eventually stop eating the sugar on their own.
Right. Not because they're scared of being grounded, but because they actually understand health.
Precisely. The law hasn't been broken. It's been mastered. The law just no longer rules them.
That makes a lot of sense. And going back to Project 2 Recording 6, there's an even more fascinating analogy about this kind of mastery. It involves a snake and this fruit called the Etzebel's fruit.
Ah, yes, the Etzebel's analogy. This is a crucial one.
It really is. So the text describes a scenario where a snake wants to eat this fruit, but there's a huge problem. The leaves of the Etzebel's plant cast a shadow that actually emits a lethal radiation.
Right, so if the snake just slithers up to the fruit whenever it wants, the law of that shadow will literally kill it. It's a fatal restriction.
But the snake doesn't try to fight the shadow, right? It doesn't, complain about the rules of the plant.
No, it uses higher understanding. The snake navigates using the direction of the sun. It calculates the exact angle of the sunlight and times its approach for the precise moment when the light completely nullifies the shadow.
It aligns itself with the light to bypass the lethal restriction.
Exactly. And that is the mechanism of revelation, of Melklet. The shadow is the rigid, legalistic bondage of the law. The sun represents higher consciousness, the light of great wisdom.
So when you operate in the light, the restrictive shadows of these artificial laws they lose their power over you.
You master the environment instead of being a victim to its rules.
Okay, but this brings up a pretty big question for you, the listener. If humans are supposed to have this high-level mastery, if we were meant to navigate by the sun, How did we end up so trapped by these fear-based rules in the first place?
To answer that, we have to look at the ancient mythos from the texts. Specifically, the myths of Haiwan and Mr. Semaya.
Right, the cosmology aspect.
Yeah, they talk about the primal human figure, Makalisab, also referred to as Khan or Adam. Originally, Makasab existed in a state of high honor and wisdom in the Eden Garden.
The land of happiness.
Exactly, existing at the 7th level of great wisdom. But then comes the deception.
The twain living beings, right, the spiritual beings and the serpent.
Yes. These spiritual entities trick humanity into eating a specific fruit. But it wasn't, an apple. It was the fruit of body consciousness.
And consuming that fruit caused humanity to fall from the 7th level of great wisdom straight down to the 6th level.
And that drop is critical because dropping into body consciousness means your entire reality becomes about physical survival, avoiding pain, seeking comfort.
You become obsessed with the physical world.
And when you're obsessed with physical survival, your primary driver becomes fear. And the texts point out that because of this fall, those spiritual beings were able to establish a system of laws over humanity.
Because fearful people want laws. They want someone to tell them what's safe and what isn't.
Exactly. The laws masquerade as protective guidance, but they are actually a system of imprisonment. They keep humans completely subservient and cut off from that 7th level great wisdom.
It's like we traded our ultimate freedom for a false sense of security.
That's exactly what happened.
I know cosmic falls and spiritual beings can sound a little abstract, but the sources ground this concept in a really relatable story, the parable of the black horse.
Yes, the black horse parable is so powerful. It really translates these concepts into something tangible.
So the story follows the daily life of this black horse and his friend Cora. And they spend every single day pulling a heavy cart for a master.
Right, and they're wearing blinders. They can only go where the master dictates.
Exactly. But the crazy part is they are perfectly content. The master gives them a daily reward of salt-sprinkled barley, and they think this is the best life possible.
They've completely accepted their bondage until the eagle arrives.
Right, the eagle. Who acts as the voice of wisdom?
The eagle visits the black horse and essentially asks him, "Why are you accepting this life of bondage? You were born for freedom."
And this is where we see the tragedy of Cora, the friend, because Cora represents the human mind that is entirely trapped by the law.
Yeah, Cora's reaction is heartbreaking, but very telling.
He actually defends the master. When presented with the idea of freedom, Cora is terrified of losing his structure and his salt-sprinkled barley. He fights to stay in the harness.
Because the harness is all he knows. The law is safe, even if it's enslaving him. And ultimately, Cora perishes when his strength fails, and the master just replaces him.
But the black horse makes a different choice.
He does. The black horse taps into his hidden potential. He realizes his true identity, and he just takes off. He gallops away at a speed the master can't control, and he eventually reaches this lush green meadow.
Total freedom.
Exactly. And the connection here is really important for the listener. Breaking free from these legalistic restrictions isn't about, rebelling against your boss or becoming an anarchist.
Right.
It's about removing the blinders of societal laws, realizing your true identity, and stepping into the light of your own mastery, just like the black horse.
Okay, so if the black horse's green meadow represents this freedom from artificial laws, what does that actually look like for us in the real world, practically speaking?
That brings us to the mechanics of the natural order.
Yeah.
We have to look at the text Fitri Hibuat and the Addmesh calendar.
Which is fascinating all on its own.
It really is. The core idea is that true freedom means replacing these artificial spiritual laws with the natural cosmic order. In the earthly world, time and energy are actually governed by the sun's movements.
And it's not just the Earth revolving around the sun, right? It's about the sun's axial tilts.
Exactly. The sun has these 45-degree axial tilts that create the 4 natural seasons: heat, water, wind, and earth. And these energetic shifts happen over 91-day cycles, which the philosophy calls awuds.
I found the math of the Addmesh calendar to be so interesting. So there are exactly 13 weeks in every awud, and you have 4 awuds a year plus 1 extra day.
And then there's the leap week.
Right. Instead of a leap day every 4 years, they wait 28 years and have a full leap week. It's not just a way to keep time. It feels like an actual blueprint for natural evolution.
It is a blueprint. Because when you understand these natural rhythms, when you unite your physical, intellectual, and spiritual consciousness with them, you achieve what's known as Mela Wudet.
Complete oneness.
Yes, complete oneness. You don't need external artificial laws anymore because you are moving in perfect harmony with the universe's ultimate power center. You're aligning with the light of the sun.
You become the snake avoiding the shadow.
Exactly. It all ties together.
That is incredible. Now, I want to transition a bit to the origin of all this, because this philosophy isn't just floating in the ether. It is deeply rooted in a physical location.
Yes, specifically in the landscape of Ethiopia, the Air Mountains.
Right. Author Teninet Setegn, who is also known as Wold Rufal, had these profound encounters there. These mountains near these ancient palace ruins and deep caves, they've actually served as a hidden sanctuary for this wisdom.
For over 700 years, this high-dimensional thought has been protected there, waiting for the right time.
And that leads to the prophecy found in the Rise of Mekolisab, which is just so exciting. The prophecy states that this supreme open-source wisdom is going to rise again.
It will echo first from the homeland territories of Ethiopia, and then it's meant to spread to all mankind. It's offering genuine victory and freedom to anyone willing to listen.
Which brings this right back to you, the listener.
Yeah, you have the agency right now. You can access this 7th level of wisdom. You can choose to stay under the restrictive laws and anxieties pushed by modern spiritual masters.
Or you can reclaim your birthright. Absolute freedom.
Exactly. The choice is yours.
So, just to briefly recap the journey we've taken today, we started by understanding how artificial laws are designed to keep us subservient. We looked at the cosmic fall of humanity into body consciousness and how the black horse woke up and chose the green meadow over the blinders.
And we discussed returning to the natural cosmic rhythms of the Addmesh calendar, all guided by the research of the Teninet Indigenous Wisdom Research Center.
Right. It's a massive paradigm shift. Now, before we sign off, I know you had a final thought you wanted to leave the audience with.
I do. It's a lingering question inspired by the Book of Divinity. The philosophy teaches that the entire created universe is essentially a mirror, fashioned by the divine to behold himself.
A mirror. Wow.
Yeah. So think about this. If you spend your whole life blindly following the restrictive laws and expectations handed to you by others, like a horse wearing blinders, whose reflection are you actually casting into the world?
That is heavy.
Are you reflecting your true divine identity, or are you just reflecting the will of your master?
That is something to seriously think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Addmesh philosophy. We encourage you to keep exploring, keep thinking, and definitely keep questioning the rules that govern your reality.